And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of New Earth Tarot Live. Looking forward to another great webcast with everybody today. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Good to see everybody from all over the world tuning in today. And again, just a reminder, I'll be here tomorrow as well, too, for New Earth TV Live. So that'll be happening at the same time, 11 a.m. Pacific time. And tomorrow I'll be looking into some guided meditation, be looking into some distance healing, and some Q&A. Today, it's just Q&A regarding tarot and higher self communication. But before we get into that, we're going to go ahead and start off with some announcements.
The world's first spiritual rejuvenation technology in the form of modern everyday items has arrived through AetherX. AetherX offers transcendental healing products that work to detoxify, replenish, and restore you on a physical, emotional, and mental level. The Aether Bed Kit takes the form of a powerful rejuvenation technology that utilizes your own life force energy to restore organs, glands, bodily systems, the energy system, and replenish emotional and mental well-being. The AetherX card decks, the healing code cards, eliminate and detoxify physical, emotional, and mental conflicts within the body. 44 beautifully designed geometrical cards specifically designed to work on the major areas of the body, encouraging natural recovery and increased vitality. The healing code cards come in 3 different themes: the body, mind, and energy decks, each with their own specific design to renew and rejuvenate the body. AetherX apparel and accessories that offer comfortable attire and beautiful geometrical and image designs to detoxify, strengthen, and rejuvenate the body. Download our collection of free sample images and cards from our website so that you can witness the benefits of AetherX spiritual technology for yourself. Visit our website now at AetherX.co and begin your rejuvenation journey with us.
And of course, you can check out distance healing by donation, 1-to-1 private sessions, and 3-question private session email sessions. So again, that is available. I'm also doing tarot readings and higher self-communication through the private sessions and through the 3 questions by email as well. So you can check that out, newearthteachings.com. And of course, there is a promo code for AetherX right now. So again, if you just look at the top of my screen here, use promo code MIDFEB, okay, all in capital letters. You can get 15% off. This is valid until February 25th. It is a one-time usage coupon code, so make sure you use it wisely when you're grabbing AetherX products. Right now we have a brand new Ether mat. It's like a yoga mat, right? And it's the next best thing right next to the Ether Bed Kit as well too. I actually had Janine message me this morning. Janine, Tarot by Janine, messaged me this morning, and she took a picture of her cat laying on the ether bed. She got her ether bed kit, and I can tell just by the way she was talking to me. So yeah, she absolutely loves it. So I will be bringing Janine back in early April. So we've managed to find a window of time where she's not busy, and so I'm going to be bringing Janine on for another interview in early April. So right now she's traveling. I believe she's in the United Kingdom right now, but she was just excited to share a picture with me today of the Ether Bed Kit. She has it, and just again by the sound of her texts, she's absolutely loving it. So I gave her the instruction booklet as well too. So Janine loves it. It's great. So again, you can check out the website AetherX.co, our YouTube channel as well too, youtube.com/AetherX store, and of course on Facebook and on Instagram. But again, we have this 15% off discount coupon right now. We have the brand new Ether mat, which is really awesome. It also has a healing mode, it has a sleep mode, it also has a yoga mode, right? So feel free to check that out. Use the discount that's available. You're going to really, really love it. And of course, everything that is on the YouTube channel is backed up onto our Odyssey channel. New Earth Teachings backup channel is odyssey.com/@newearthteachings. You can also find the link in the video description. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started with tarot. All right, it's tarot time. Maybe I should make that as my catchphrase now. All right, guys, it's tarot time. I don't know if I need to make it that cheesy, but anyways, it is tarot time. So give the cards a good shuffle, and we're going to go into the live chat. And so again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Good to see you here once again. Again, usually, today's episode is usually just supposed to be about an hour long. So there's some times where I've stretched it a little bit, but I'm going to try and keep it just to an hour in length. So we'll probably go to about 5 after 12 or 10 after 12 at the latest. So let's just get cracking with some questions. I'm going to try and be a little bit more brief about the questions. There are times where I'm going into a great amount of detail, and I know some of you like detail, but I'll try and be a little bit more conservative about the idea of the amount of time I'm spending on per question, because I know you guys have a lot of questions for me. Anyways, if you do want to leave a donation with your question, that will put you first in line. Okay, so donation-based questions are always first in line, and that's always appreciated. Otherwise, I just go through the chat one at a time. Okay, so Peace Gem here has a request for their son. Now, Peace Gem, it's important to know I'm not doing healing today. Okay, so Peace Gem, what I'd like you to do is to come back tomorrow. Okay, come back tomorrow when I'm doing New Earth TV Live at 11 a.m. Pacific, or you can look at distance healing by donation as well too. I'm just not doing any healing sessions here on the chat today. Okay, it's all just Q&A today. All right. This one is for Nancy. Nancy says, "Hi Brad, I have a question about the I have a question about the platonic shapes, and I did get a donation here, which I'll get to right after this one. A question about the platonic shapes. I've been looking into them and found the Metatron's cube also. It was said if you looked at this, you could heal yourself. Is the Merkaba similar? Well, Metatron's cube is kind of like a combination pertaining to all of the platonic solids. So yes, if you're working with, if the Metatron's cube is great. Like I said, even just looking at this, guys, is a beautiful geometry that will help you. Okay, that's the flower of life. That's the torus field. Okay, everything really just accumulates to the torus field. Right, that's the whole nature of it. If you're really looking at the toroidal field, the torus field, the shape of the torus, that's like the combination of all geometries together, right? So whether you're looking at the flower of life, whether you're looking at Metatron's cube, whether you're looking at a tetrahedron, whether you're looking at a hexahedron, whether you're looking at a icosahedron, a dodecahedron, etc., octahedron, okay? Those are the common basic platonic solids, the ones I've just mentioned. Tetrahedron, hexahedron, octahedron, icosahedron, dodecahedron, okay? Those are the 5. They also correspond to the elements as well. So basically when you put all those in significant combination, you get something like the Metatron's cube. Because of course everything just equals out to the torus field. So using any of those things that I just shared, including the flower of life behind me, that's great, right? Just look into sacred geometry, right? Platonic solids, absolutely. That's what I recommend. If you've watched the Christ oil video, you know that's what I've talked about, is to contemplate the platonic solids, is to go into platonic absorption, right? So if you're looking at the flower of life, if you're looking at the Metatron's cube, if you're looking at a tetrahedron, great. All of these things are fantastic. Just contemplate them, right? So you're going into absorption, you're not going into hypnosis. You're going into absorption, and you're absorbing those geometries into yourself. You're being one with those geometries, which is a lot more different than hypnosis. Okay, so platonic absorption, absolutely. Keep doing it daily. Very important. It's what I'm working on with my meditations as well too. It's just going into platonic absorption quite regularly. All right, so this is a donation-based question here from Stephen. Stephen says, Brad, is there some kind of world shutdown or lockdown coming? There has been a report that a fungus will be blamed to lock the world down so the military can clean up the dark dominions. Janine has reported a shutdown also. I have looked at this recently. I'm not saying that there's not talks, that there's not discussions of lockdowns. We'll look into another tarot reading here momentarily. But from what I've been getting from the readings, there's talks of other shutdowns, there's talks of other lockdowns, but they're not going to come to pass. Okay? So I've looked at this already a multitude of different times, going back the past several weeks, the past couple of months, all right? And it's been a common subject. Again, we'll look at it here momentarily, but I'm not getting anything like that about a fungus shutdown. Like I said, they're trying to invent new ideas. They're trying to invent new concepts about, oh my God, now it's a fungus. Oh my God, it's another type of strand of COVID or whatever it is, right? Guys, you have to remember, look how quickly the variants of COVID lasted. Didn't last very, very long. Look what they were trying to do with monkeypox. Didn't last very long. They can't really do that anymore. The whole idea of trying to use a virus to shut down the world won't work anymore. They've already exhausted that opportunity. You have to remember, guys, a lot of the dark forces aren't around in those positions of authority anymore, right? A lot of the counter forces are taking over. I know some of you are probably new to my channel, so you're probably just hearing me for the first time about this, but I would suggest looking back into the previous episodes of New Earth TV Live and of New Earth Tarot as well too, because I talk about this quite a bit. But we are going to go ahead and do a reading about this phenomenon, right? Is it true that there will be a lockdown, world shutdown with the military to clean up some report on fungus, right? But basically, I think we'll just keep it a little more simpler. Is there going to be another lockdown this year for the entire world? Okay, we'll take a look at that. Yeah, I keep getting a no, guys. I'm not getting anything in regards to a lockdown. Okay, there's good things coming. There are really good things coming. There's so much more exposure coming together. Like I said, guys, I've said that 2023 really represents much more of a grace year, right? There's good surprises ahead. There's good opportunities ahead. There's growth. There's transformation. There's phenomenal surprises to come. Okay, this is a time of empowerment. Okay. People need to really start looking at all these things that have caused them fear so they can now turn all these things off and start being in their own power. They start working with their soul tribes, right? They start standing up for themselves. People are realizing now, I'm going to turn off the news. I'm going to turn off the mainstream media because this is nothing but a battle for my brain. This is nothing but trying to create fear to try to control me. Okay? So now I get the remote control, I turn off the television. I get off the internet propaganda porn websites. Okay? I get off those. I'm going on a fast. I'm going to start living my life. I'm going to start taking care of myself. I'm going to start helping people who are also scared and let them know what I've done. I'm not going to participate with the battle for my brain agenda. I'm not going to participate in the fear-fapping agenda that basically keeps me afraid, that keeps me under control, because that's all that's happening here. Whenever we are getting so hooked on these stories, we're getting into the fear-fapping. We're getting into the battle of the brain. We're going into the idea of being controlled constantly. And where does that get you? That gets you nowhere. So it's time to turn off those mainstream media channels. Right? There's people in that sense who have already liberated themselves, and they look at the news and they're going, did I actually used to believe in this stuff? This is a joke. This is garbage. Okay? It's exactly what happens to me if I'm walking through a shopping mall and I see the news on, and I'm just, oh my God. The clown show's on. Here's the clown show, right? Here's the three-ring circus. Here's Circus Soleil right here. Because that's really how I see it. This is nothing but a soap opera. This is nothing but entertainment, right? Very small elements of truth pertaining to those stories, but they're all watered down to try and create the battling of the brain. These MSM networks, guys, have never had your best interest in heart. They've never have. So why give in to them, right? So I'm not getting anything here in regards to that. I'm basically just seeing people are walking away from any agendas that represent that. Okay, so this is is it a hope card? Is it a fear card? Is it a conflict card? It's that people are turning the TV off and they're walking away. And they're enriching themselves with life. As long as you cling to the boob tube, you are under the battle of the brain agenda. You are under the old narrative. And that's not going to get you anywhere. Be discerning. Okay, it's exactly what this card is. So you guys got to be discerning about this. No, there is no idea of a lockdown that is going to happen again that is going to shut the world down. It's not going to happen. Okay, there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of talk. Okay, a lot of threats about it, a lot of attempts to try and shut it down again, but they're all being fooled. Do you guys remember what I talked about with the giant stamp of cosmic denial? Because that's what's happening again and again and again and again. Right? So we want to be very, very aware of that. Like I said, we got to be aware of a lot of this fear. because this is exactly what it's trying to do. It's trying to bring about fear. It's trying to give fear of lockdowns. It's trying to give fear of systematic breakdowns. It's trying to give fear of all of these things collapsing so that you have nothing. That you're thrown out in the cold and causing yourself to worry. All right? Use your strength. Take all of the experience that you have. Take everything that you know is true to yourself and work with discernment and clear it away completely. Okay? So a lot of it is just basically just the cards telling me this is all fear, this is all propaganda, this is all meant to make you upset, this is all meant to feel separation consciousness, this is all a battle of your brain. Stand up for yourself. Use that great strength, use that knowledge that you have within yourself and overcome these shadows, because that's what it is. It's hand puppetry with shadows trying to tell you that there's a demon to your left and a demon to your right and a demon behind you and a demon in front of you, and there's no escape. Okay? As long as you get into this battle of the brain, old narrative mentality, you're going to feel like there's no way out. And the whole idea is to go cold turkey, turn off the TV, right? Let it all go and start living a life that you prefer. Start shining your light of saying, this is the life I prefer. This is how I'm going to live my life. My TV is not going to tell me how to live my life, right? If I decide to travel, I'm going to travel. If I'm going to be with my friends and my family, I'm going to be with them. I'm going to enjoy everything that comes into my life because I have the control to do it. That's our power. We have to remember that, okay? Thank you, Stephen, for your question. Okay, I got some more donations coming in. Thank you, guys. This is from Carter. Carter says, hey, Brad, what are these major chemical spills in the U.S. about? Is this the deep state acting out? Will we see solutions arise soon? So let's take a look at chemical spills, okay? There are chemicals. I think there was something about a train derailing or something like that as of late. There's also been false flag shootings as well too, right? So not just chemical spills and a train derailing or something of that nature. Also the idea of U.S. military jets shooting down particular craft, so to speak, right? Cylindrical objects in that way. These are all staged events, guys. They're all basically trying to blame these things on their enemies, right? You basically say it's Dark Cabal trying to blame things on their enemies so that they feel like they're getting a bad rep and that they can try to go to war with them, right? But that's not going to happen. So let's take a look at the cards, see what's being shown here. But these major chemical spills in the U.S. is the deep state acting out. I think that's pretty obvious, but let's take a look and see what the cards say here. There really is no need for solutions, guys, because all these things are fake. You don't need solutions to something that's fake other than to know that it's fake, right? And a lot of these things are false flags, staged propaganda situations. Okay, so we're going to take a look at the cards here. Okay. Yep, this is nothing but a smear campaign. This is all set up. This is all part of, again, agendas to try and say, oh my God, there's sabotage going on, right? There's introspection. So this is representing the past. Like I said, don't buy into it, right? A lot of it is just falsity. It's falseness, right? It's smear campaigns. It's set up. It's propagated. It's planned. It's engineered. None of these things are genuine, okay? They may be happening in certain ways, but again, they're just being set up because basically the Dark Cabal is broke, right? This is their situation right now. They're falling apart. And they are desperate, desperate people. I don't even know if I call them people. They're desperate, desperate things, right? And like I said, there's going to be cleanup behind the scenes taken care of, okay? A lot of this is going to be cleaned up. It's not going to lead to any impending disaster. It's not going to lead to any sort of loss of life on a major scale, okay? These are all illusions. These are all deceptions. These are all veils that are being put over our eyes to try and give the impression that, oh my God, it's China's fault, or oh my God, it's Russia's fault, or it's this and that, right? It's all smear campaigns. Try and do this, right, to basically create false flag shootings as well too, right? More shootings going on, trying to create political change. It's the same old crap, guys. It's the same old crap we've been seeing for so many years. It's just heating up. More of it's heating up. They're losing control. Guys, the United States, the House of Senate has already passed the idea, the end to vaccinations pertaining to traveling, okay? Most countries now can travel to the United States without having to be vaccinated. This is on Reuters.com, okay? I was actually just handed this article just a couple of days ago. You can travel to the U.S. now without any form of proof of inoculation whatsoever. All of it's dying. The United States is now finally starting to come around, which goes back to one of my sharings a few months ago that we'll probably see around January or February, that we'll see that people will start to be able to go to the US again, by land, by air, by sea, without proof of vaccination. Here it is. Here we are in February, guys. Called it. So there we go. So this is basically done now. So I was basically planning to do a trip to Anaheim here in very early April, as I was going to be meeting Forrest Knudsen and getting initiated into Kriya Yoga. So I'll be able to do that now, right? Of course, people are able to go right down to the U.S. border now without any problems, okay? So that's happening. Everything pertaining to the COVID situation is imploding, and all of these pillars are falling apart more and more, and that was like their granddaddy plan. And if COVID's not working out, they're not going to be able to do Agenda 21 or Agenda 2030. Everything's falling apart. Well, what are they going to do? They're going to be desperate. They're going to be frantic. They're going to try and create all these other different types of false flags. Let's do the idea of trying to shoot down cylindrical objects from China or from Russia. Right? Let's blame it on them, and it's their own technology. Right? These are nothing but staged events. Let's go ahead and derail a train. Let's go ahead and create chemical spills. Right? And let's blame it on somebody else. That's exactly what they do. They engineer these situations, and then they point their finger at somebody else. It's their satanic measure of what they do, right? It's all textbook, guys. If you see through this stuff, none of this is going to impress you. None of this is going to concern you, because you know it's all nothing but a bunch of propaganda. It's nothing but a bunch of hooligans playing on a stage, trying to manipulate people to think, oh my God, it's Russia and China's fault. We need to go after them and blah, 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 blah. Okay? So that's basically what I'm getting. It's a bunch of garbage. The solution is don't believe in the lies. That's the solution, right? Because it's nothing but that. All right? Thank you for your question. Okay. Let's go down the list a bit more. I think the next person is Mariah. I got your donation. Thank you for that. And this one here is from Terry. Terry says, are the spirits, ancestors, angels, and thank you for your donation, Terry. Are the spirits, ancestors, angels watching the movie that we are all in here on Earth? You have to ask them, I guess, right? Now you have to understand that you're talking about beings that are very much on a higher perspective. I don't really want to speak for them, but yes, they're very much aware of all the stuff that's going on, right? Especially when I was channeling Adronis, he was very aware of all the things that were going on. And he too was saying, don't buy into this stuff, right? You don't buy into it. Just don't get so overly excited about the stuff that you need to see. It needs to come and go. Stay in your power, okay? If you talk to any wise dimensional being in that way, they'll all give you the same type of message. Stop reacting to all the stuff that's happening. It is the darkness dying away. Stop giving it your power. Stop thinking that you need to intervene in some way. Stop trying to change something that you're seeing outwardly. All these things need to happen so that it creates a critical mass awakening, so that everybody else sees the lies of the media, they see the lies of the government, they see the lies of politics, they see how everything has been corrupted, and they're standing up and they're taking a stand. And they're now going to work together and clear everything away. But don't buy into this narrative, right? Let it flow as it needs to. Let the collective sort itself out. Don't buy into it. Stay in your power. Stay strong in this time. Work on yourself. Heal yourself. Help others that come to you. Tell them what you're doing. And work together in that way. That's all this is all about, guys. There's nothing else that you need to do. Okay? It's not about you trying to go out and say, I'll get those cabal buggers and I'll make them pay and blah, blah, blah. No. What is that going to do for you? Okay? You're just throwing yourself into a gigantic cauldron of hot boiling water. Okay? There's no need for you to do any of that stuff. Just let these things happen as they need to. It doesn't need your personal resolution to resolve these things. This is mostly for the sleepers. What you're helping to do is just educate people about how you are transforming, how you are shifting, very much like what I'm doing with you guys right now. Okay? I'm not saying to be apathetic about these things that are happening, but in all due respect, guys, a lot of these things that are happening aren't real. They're not real. They're staged events. They were planned behind the scenes. They're basically just planned in a boardroom. They're planned in some secret military office. They're planned in all these different rooms. Let's do this, let's do this, and let's do this right now. It's no more different than watching a bunch of filmmakers trying to get ready to create a show, create a movie. Okay? That's all this is. None of this is real. As I've said many times, everything that's happening in the world right now pertaining to these man-made agendas are false. They're nothing but smokescreens. They're nothing but deceptions. If you pull out the moon card in the tarot, then you pretty much sum it up, right? Because that's what they are. None of them are real. So yes, we could basically say that those loving beings and have a greater perspective are very aware of what's going on. Like I said, I'm not trying to speak for them, but yes, like when I talked to Adronis, he's very aware of what was going on. And he says, just don't give it power. Let it play itself out. Don't keep trying to interfere with this stuff because you're just going to put yourself into a greater rut. Let it play itself out. In the meantime, work with yourself. Clean out all the debris of what you thought was real that isn't, and now you remain with what's real. That's the key here. Okay? Thank you, Terry. Okay, let's go to Sunflower now. Sunflower says, good day, Brad. Is the Financial Quantum Stella initiative for the people or another deep state scam? A Financial Quantum Stella initiative. Never heard of that. Okay, but let's take a look here. I'm pretty sure there are, guys. There's a lot of scams that I've had people like saying, oh, there's this People's Front movement, or there's Alliance of People's Trust, or something like that. All these different groups. And it's not to say that they're a scam, it's just that they have no leadership. They have no leadership. There's just a lot of people who say, I'm bored. I'm going to go create a Facebook group. Let's call it the Financial Quantum Stella Initiative. What does it do? I don't know. I'm just bored. That's basically how it starts. Person has no experience in financial matters. They are not informants in any way. They're not researchers in any way. And they just go ahead and they create these groups. Hey guys, look at this. Here's a Financial Quantum Stella Initiative. Here's the People's Front for Financial Freedom. Okay? I've met quite a few of them in the past. There's no leadership. Right? It's not to say that these people are bad people or anything like that. They're mostly just bored. They're just bored and they're uneducated and they don't know what they're doing. And it's, oh, okay, I just want to get people's attention, so I'll just create something like a quantum financial group that they can all join. We're not going to do a damn thing. We're just going to be bitching about a bunch of stuff. But we're not actually going to do anything. I've met lots of people that have had such groups like that. Okay, so let's take a look at the Financial Quantum Stella Initiative. Is a genuine group or if it's just a waste of time. Okay, so what is the true nature behind the Quantum Stella Initiative for the people? It's an interesting name. Okay, let's take a look. I'm pretty sure they're probably good at making t-shirts or like little buttons you can wear. I'm part of the Financial Quantum Stella Initiative. What's that? I don't know. Just a cool name I came up with. Okay. What does it do? Not a damn thing. We just bitch about things. Oh, okay. That's about the extent of what they're able to do. So let's take a look. Yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure it's just their groups. Their people are coming together, right? There's people united under a common cause. But there's no leadership. There's no leadership. And this is exactly what we're seeing behind the scenes. It's going nowhere. Does nothing. Okay? It's a good idea. I'm sure there's genuine people that want to be a part of it, right? And it may just be a community where people are coming together and they want to talk about things. Okay, that's great. And they may be romanticizing about money. I think they're romanticizing about it. But it's not going anywhere. It's just, what is this? Okay? Maybe it could become something. Maybe it has the opportunity to become something in the future. But it's just like, it's just hanging around. Like, what is it doing? It's just standing there. So the energy altogether doesn't look too bad. They're not doing anything. Okay? So these are the things we just have to be aware of, right? Just be careful with a lot of these alliance groups and stuff like that. Like I said, they're not bad people. I think they could go somewhere, but they need leadership, and there's no leadership there. And they're just hanging around. It's just like orangutans hanging upside down the trees and just scratching themselves. And that's basically what they're doing. There's no leadership in these groups, right? People in that sense, genuine people who are upset about the current financial system. They want to see the new financial system coming together. Okay, that's fine. That's not a problem. And the energies here seem pretty docile. That's great. but you're not doing anything. You're not doing anything. You're just there. Okay? And that would be the issue. Okay? So we just have to be mindful. I don't think they're a scam, but I just don't think that they're the idea that they're not really doing anything either. Okay? I don't really sense any deception with the group, but they're just not doing anything. It's kind of like the idea where people get so enthralled with Nasara and Gassara and stuff like that, and I've seen all that going back into the 1990s about people with Nasara and people with Gassara, all that stuff. Oh my God, we can't wait for this to come. And you guys have been waiting, what, 30 years for Nasara Gassara? Well, that's about the same kind of thing here. Okay, it's mostly just distraction-based groups. They have no resolve to them. They have no leadership, and they're just there, right? They might as well just be a pylon. So that's it. To me, it sounds like a pylon group, and that's about it. That's the best way I could refer to them as. Okay. Okay, so this is from Elaine Brown. When will Dinar RV? Guys, you're waiting a long time for that stuff. Okay, I've gotten this question before with the idea of the Dinar RV. I haven't even been able to see a timeline as of late to when it will actually start to roll out in a remuneration value. Okay, a lot of you guys, with all due respect, are being scammed. Okay, when you're looking at Dinar, because I've talked to quite a few clients in that sense. Oh, Brad, I got all this investment in Dinar and stuff like that. When is it going to have remuneration value? And so, well, guys, I've been looking at this stuff. It's not happening anytime soon. And with all due respect, I think you're being scammed. Okay? And I'm just telling you guys the truth from what I'm getting. But we'll take a look at the Dinar RV again. We'll look at it again and say, okay, when is the Dinar going to go ahead and move into remuneration value? Let's take a look. A lot of people get scammed by these things, unfortunately. Right? There's certain cryptocurrencies that people start investing in and they go nowhere, right? And you're basically just completely imploding your financial with these certain cryptocurrencies that are going nowhere at the same time. Dinar RV, very common too. Yeah, pretty much. People are going to basically start walking away from it because it's going nowhere. Okay, so I'm not getting anything in regards to it coming into remuneration value. Perhaps it will have a remuneration value in time. Okay, that's behind the scenes. People see it looks really, really good. We want to invest in it. We want to invest in Dinar in that sense, but we have to wait for remuneration value. And so you're basically might as well wait for a meteorite to hit you on top of a mountain while you're waiting there. Okay. It's a big, big waiting game. It's not to say that what you're investing in isn't real. But again, it's like people that are waiting for Nasara and Gassara, right? They're just sitting here, they're just tapping their feet, waiting for Nasara and Gassara to come. I'm waiting for the Dinar to do RV, to have remuneration value, etc. And you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting. That's exactly what this card is saying. You're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting. You may be patient, but nothing's happening, okay? And that's basically what's kind of permanently stuck. It is like that indefinitely because there's nothing here. It's not to say that it's not a legit currency and stuff like that, but you're just tapping your foot waiting. And there's nothing here I can give in regards to a time when it's going to happen because there's no schedule for it to happen right now. You might as well do better things with your money rather than wasting it on stuff like that. Okay? This is not about getting some rogue cryptocurrency. This is not about getting some rogue financial system form of dollar-backed value with yourself. That's not the answer, guys. A lot of people get suckered into that stuff. And that's not the answer. It's not about you having to buy your weight in gold or buy your weight in silver. Okay, it's fine to have that stuff, but that's not what's going to bail you out of any situation. Don't you think, guys, that if they've been able to control the financial system all this time, that those forms of things can be under control too? Okay? That's not your liberation. The key here in that sense is to work with yourself, is to clear away your personal blocks relating to finances. Clear them away. And you don't even care if you have fiat currency. You don't even care if you have silver. You don't even care if you have cryptocurrency. You don't even care if you're playing the stock market. None of it will matter to you because you're completely at peace with your financial means. Right? You've got to clear away the blocks pertaining to finances. I'm not making enough, right? This is a corrupt system and I need to get off this. And I said, guys, I'm still using fiat currency. Okay? Doesn't bother me one bit, because I'm not under the control of feeling that this is going to fall apart and I'm going to have nothing. And if there's an RV reset, oh my goodness, I'm going to lose everything. No, I'm not that insecure with money anymore. And that's what you got to do to liberate yourself, right? Everything that you have pertaining to the exchanges of yourself that you make will always follow you, because that's your energetic. Your energetic will always stay with you. It's not just going to vanish into thin air. Do not panic so much about the idea about this changeover. So many people are, because I get that question every single week. Brad, am I going to be okay? If I have this money in the bank account, and what happens if the quantum financial system pops on tomorrow? Is my money going to disappear? No. And I've been saying the answer to that question now for about the past 10 years. No, guys, it's not going anywhere. Everything is transferable. Stop worrying about your financial assets. It's going to be transferable. When systems come together, and there is going to be a shift, absolutely, everything that you have will be transferable from one to the other. It's what I've kept getting for the past 10 years straight. So you got to give up this fear porn. You got to give up this fear fapping relating to the idea of money situations, because again, you're just blowing money on other things that are not guaranteed to bring you about a greater return of income or return of investment. Okay? Please be aware of these things, guys. These are a lot more trapdoors, and people love to take advantage of you. A lot more, oh, this system's dying, so go and invest in this. And then people just scam you and take your money. You need to be very careful about that. You need to have some discernment, right? This is why I say, look into your inner divination. Look into yourself to make sure you're making the right decision before you just go blow your money on something stupid that will not bring about a good ROI. Please be aware of that, okay? It's for your own sake, guys. It's just very, very important for you to know. I've been dealing with people like that for years. I've had people in that sense go to some really bad cryptocurrency, say, yeah, Brad, I just spent like $2,000 on this stuff. Is this going to get together? And I look into it and, sorry, man, this is not going to get you anywhere, because this cryptocurrency is not going to get off the ground. Like, so what do I do? What do I do? Well, you're going to see if you can bring some of your money back. But the whole idea, I would say, is that do not invest in anything that you are not willing to have that money be lost. Okay? If you feel like you have $1,000, that's give or take, you don't care if you give it away, and you want to invest in something, go for it. But I'm not telling about taking your entire life savings and putting it towards some rogue cryptocurrency where you lose everything, because that's a very stupid decision, right? Just use the money that you're not afraid to lose, and you can experiment. Otherwise, you're being very foolish putting things into something you don't even know anything about. It's very foolish. Please don't do that. That's my recommendation to you guys, okay? All right, let's go down to another question. Here's one from Denise. Thank you for the message. Okay, thank you, Denise. Appreciate that. So let me just go back up the list, because I think I tackled all the donation-based questions. So just going back up here again. So we got about half an hour here. So this one here is from Sarita. Sarita says, question, Dear Brad, how is the education systems looking for our little ones in the next 1 to 2 years here in U.S., especially in East Coast? Not good. Okay? This is going to be something that is going to be battled throughout this entire decade. Okay? The entire school system it's chaotic. It's like going into a prison, guys. You're basically taking your kids and you're putting them into a prison. That's what you're doing. Okay? This entire decade is going to be an exposure of the school systems, and there's going to be a lot of takedowns relating to how these school systems are run, because you're basically putting your kids in prison from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock, Monday to Friday. That's what you're doing. Okay? And especially with the way a lot of these schools are run today, it's despicable and it's disgusting of what they're teaching kids. They're not teaching them anything. They're teaching them nothing. There's no good trade in regards to what you're learning from school, right? It's garbage. If you guys want my perspective on what you should do with your children, take them out of school. Take them out of public school, find alternatives. Public school is absolute crap. It is absolute garbage. Now, I know parents may want their own times. I just want my kid to go somewhere, for the day so I can work or I can do this. Hey, I completely understand that. But look into alternatives, right? Find some alternatives for your child's education. If you're able to teach your child, that's the best thing ever. There is nothing redeemable about going into the school. Like even the schools when I came out of, right? I was a graduate of the 90s, okay? And they were crap back then. They're about 100 times worse today, okay? Here we are in 2023, and the crap that they feed these kids are 100 times worse than when I was back in school in the 1990s, okay? It's absolute garbage what they're teaching people. Oh, we don't say he or she anymore. We say they. We say non-binary stuff. We basically took away grades and we're just giving these little buzzwords and stuff. Like they're all so busy of being corruptly, politically correct. And it's a bunch of garbage. Okay? I do not support the public school systems at all. They're a mess, and you might as well be putting your kids in prison. Okay? It's absolute crap. It's garbage. They should not be in a public school the way it is oriented right now. Okay? Unfortunately, this is going to last the entire decade. Okay? From 2020 to 2030, there's going to be a major exposure of the school systems about how badly run it is, how off course it is, how it doesn't really teach kids anything, how kids are just getting bullied, how kids are just getting patronized with all of these things. It's horrible. The kind of food they're eating, they're basically talking about non-binary. It's just a bunch of corrupt 1984 George Orwellian garbage that they're putting them in through schools. It's a prison, guys. Okay? I'm not just talking about the United States. The United States is probably the biggest culprit of that of all. I'm talking about everywhere. Okay? Public schools are a mess. You should not be putting your kids in public schools if you just want my perspective on it. Okay? Of course, you're the parent. You have to decide what's best, but that would be my perspective on it. There's no goodness that comes out of these public schools. They're absolute garbage. I hardly learned anything from my schooling days, right? It's when I left school and I started pursuing things through my own independent ventures that I really started to learn things. It's when I was out of school and I was starting to look at things through my own independent ventures. That's where I really learned. When I was learning, it was out of school. I didn't learn in school. I learned beyond it. Right? And that's what you got to work with your children. You got to encourage your children to look at the world, to look at nature, to look at how they can plant and grow food, to look at how, there's mathematics, there's spelling. Yes, we can look at all that stuff. But the whole idea here is being able to show them about observation, teaching them how the world truly works, showing them the things of the world, showing them how nature is, working with animals, working with gardens, working with the earth, okay? Those are the true, beautiful teachings, okay? Expanding yourself, going into enlightenment. That's the true education. This crap that they're learning in public school is nothing. It's regurgitated garbage. And even the science that they're learning isn't even the true science. They're not teaching them about the ether. They're not teaching them about the nature of magnetism. They're not teaching them about the power of your thoughts. They're not talking about the power of manifestation. Just talking about regurgitated crap created by a bunch of crackpots that will get you nowhere in life. They're dumbing down kids. And they've been doing that for a very long time, and it's only got escalated more. The kids are wasting themselves being put in a prison public school because that's what it is. Okay? That's my perspective, guys. Take it or leave it. But that's basically what I've seen. I've seen this for a very long time. I've known this ever since I was going back to my years of school. That school was just a waste of time. It's garbage. You don't need to be here. There's nothing important. There's nothing of that urgency that you need to learn from a garbage establishment like that. It's crap. It's the McDonald's of education. You might as well be munching on plastic styrofoam fries and roadkill burgers. Okay? That's basically what it is. You don't need it. Look for alternatives. That's my perspective. Okay? Whatever you guys decide to do, hey, you're the parents, right? This one is from Eum142. Hi, Brad. Thank you for your donation. Will there be a proper follow-up to Freedom Convoy once these things start heating up with new intense agendas? I'm not too sure what you mean by follow-up. Okay? No, basically, as far as Canada goes, they made their point. They made their point with the Freedom Convoy. It doesn't need to be done again. Okay? This is just coming to me through Spirit right now. there doesn't need to be a second follow-up for that. There doesn't need to be that, because they've already planted the seed with what they were able to successfully do. Freedom Convoy of Canada was a complete 100% success. Completely successful, right? They did everything that they needed to do. They planted the seeds that was necessary. Now everything else is just growing around those seeds that were planted. And everything is just going to be taken care of as it needs to. Guys, please don't give your power in regards to the collective events that are taking place right now, thinking that you need to change something. You can't, for one. Okay? All this stuff needs to happen. It's the earth going through a breaking of a fever. She needs to purge all this stuff out of her so that these things can fall away. That's what's happening. Stand strong with yourself. Work together with your family. If they're open to hearing about this, if they're not open to hearing about this, just give them love and compassion, right? Keep changing yourself. Guys, I cannot stress enough that you are the center point to your entire life. And what you change through yourself is going to bring about the greatest results possible. Nobody can turn your Rubik's Cube but you. Your Rubik's Cube represents the geometry of change here. When you go in and you start letting these things go, I start surrendering to this, I start surrendering to that, your Rubik's Cube starts shifting. And now people in your life start changing, but they're only changing because you're changing first, right? This is what matters, okay? Not about the idea of trying to worry about all these collective events. Guys, they're not important. And I'm saying this, I'm being bold, but all these collective events you're seeing are not important. They're nothing but effects. Everything that's happening right now, oh my God, there's war here and there's this stuff here. Who cares? Who cares? It's no more different than going into a movie theater and being shocked by what you're seeing on the movie screen. And are you going to go ahead and take out a felt marker and try and draw on the screen and try and change all those things? No. Let it go. Give love and compassion to the people affected. Let them know that they are loved. Give them that love altogether. But if you try rolling up your sleeves and thinking that you're going to change the momentum of events upon this planet, then you're wasting your time. What's going to make a difference is you saying, I'm no longer a part of that system. I'm going to start shifting myself. I'm going to start changing. And I'm going to work with my soul tribe that feels the same way with me. And now you have hundreds of thousands, millions upon millions of people that are following that. And you have such an incredible momentum because, as I've talked about in the past, all that's required here is your thought decision. I'm not participating in that type of life. Forget it. And it's done. And you're discarding it away. You're peeling away the pain. You're peeling away all of the propaganda. You're peeling away the three-ring circus, old narrative of this garbage, because it's not going to give you any form of salvation. You guys following this stuff does nothing for you at all. Looking into all these things about what's happening with the government. Is the government going to do this? Are we going to get through this? Is this going to take place? Or et cetera, et cetera. You're wasting your time, right? Your better time is looked into taking care of yourself, changing yourself, because you're the only being in all of creation that's changeable. Okay, your mom's not changeable by you. Your dad's not changeable by you. Your friends are not changeable by you. Your kids are not changeable by you. No human being is changeable by you. You're the only one who you can change. As I start changing, as I start throwing away these things that I am able to now discard and let go of, my world is shifting, and oh my goodness, I'm seeing peace everywhere. I'm telling you this, guys, because that's how I live. It's exactly how I live. Why do you think I'm not tuning into CNN and MSNBC and Fox News and all that stuff and worried about political scandals? Couldn't give a crap about that, right? There's people that are being hurt. I give them love and compassion. There for them, talking to their spirit, talking to their soul. It's all right. Let go of this pain. Go into the light. Return home. Be home with the Father. Be home with Divine Mother God. That's your home. That's your true nature, right? I'm working with people like this all the time. And again, that's the true nature of living. It's to live in the non-dual. As long as you keep living in duality, you will suffer. All of you will suffer by you continuing to live in the duality. That there's this and that, there's us versus them. There's this agenda taking place, and oh my God, my money situation. And oh my God, the situation with my kids, oh my God, education, etc., etc. And I'm going into duality, and my head's about to explode because I'm so overwhelmed by everything, because you've chosen duality. You've chosen this chaos. And you're not willing to give yourself time to sit down, to look in a mirror and say, who am I? What am I? Right? That's the most important thing you got to do, guys. I'm not just telling you these things to make conversation. I'm telling you these things because this is what you need to do. If you want to go free, you need to start living in the non-dual. Your enlightenment needs to come first. You have the ability to change everything, but you have to know this. And it's the easiest thing to change yourself. I would say it's the simplest thing to change yourself. Easiest is up to you for how you see it. All right? Thanks for your question. This is from Layla. Layla says, Gro Peterson is asking about lots of dead swans and cats in Oslo, Norway. What are they dying of? Okay, I'm not too sure if I found her question yet. Maybe I'll scroll down a bit more. So usually if you guys are finding dead animals, these are experimentations. Unfortunately, these are frequency experiments. Okay? So I'm not even able to see Gro's question here. So I got, I'm just scrolling through the chat. Okay, there we go. It's up here. So Gro says, I hear about swans and other birds being found dead here in Oslo, and I hear about cats getting sick and some dying all over the world. Okay, well, I don't think they're dying over the world. Okay, but basically if you're looking at Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, these are strongholds for cabal activity. Okay, and basically what they'll do is they'll start doing frequency generations. They'll start working with frequency technology, maybe scalar in different ways. And what that does is that interrupts the magnetic field often found in animals, right? They operate on a slightly different band of magnetic frequency pertaining to their organs and their own infrastructure and equilibrium, okay? And when that is getting messed with, these frequencies can basically destroy them from the inside. This is why we've seen on many different levels, even in different areas of the world as well too, just a bunch of fish dropping dead from the ocean, or we're seeing again a bunch of birds falling from the sky and they're all dying. This is all messing with the magnetics of the earth, and this is caused by artificial technology, right? So when you're noticing that a lot of birds are dropping dead, or a lot of fish are dropping dead, or a lot of animals are dropping dead, this is messing with the magnetic fields because they are experimenting with other different forms of often scalar technology and other particular forms of frequency technology because they're basically testing their weapons out, okay? So that's often the cause. Now, I will go ahead and I'll look into the cards and see what they say as well, too. What about being able to see birds and cats in the specific area in Oslo that are dying, okay? And we can look into the idea of what is the cause for that. But that is quite commonly what the cause is. Whenever you're seeing a lot of that, those are frequency experiments. Those are frequency weapons that are coming forward and doing that and killing a lot of animals. It's very despicable. But that's what they're doing, right? They're testing their weapons. Some of it may also be weapon warfare taking place as well, or frequency warfare taking place. So let's take a look here. Okay. So I'm going to do this reading again. I need to ask the right question. I don't think I was even asking the question first. So let me ask the question first. What is the cause pertaining to these animals dying in Oslo? What is the cause? Okay. Yeah, this is better. All right. So yes, a lot of it is a mixture of different things. To me, this feels like a mixture of frequencies card. Mixture of different types of frequencies, of different types of magnetics that are being broadcast, that are being expelled, right? And there's a lot of things. It's also, I think it's also a mixture of different things. It may also represent chemicals. It may represent, again, other forms of interferences that are taking place. So basically, the card is saying it's a multitude of different things, right? And there is the trampling away of these animals dying as a result of what's happening here. Frequency bombardment, whether it's changes in chemicals, whether it's atmospheric conditions, whether it's interferences with the magnetic field, okay? But basically, we need to look at these things. These things are being shared. These things are being demonstrated so people can start asking these questions. You need to tell me, Mr. Government, why a bunch of animals are dropping dead, why they're all dying here. And we're not going to stop until we get a question, right? This is helping to initiate a person asking questions, right? And that's what we got to do. And here's, again, group research coming together, looking at these things. What was taking place? When did this happen? How was the structure of the magnetic field? Were there any chemicals in the air? What is going on? You're breaking everything down and you're analyzing all these things, and you're going to be able to get much more significant answers from that. So again, this comes organically. This requires organic investigation, and there's going to be a lot more of that. People are going to start looking into the idea of the equilibrium of the magnetic field, of looking at EMFs, looking at ELFs, looking at chemicals, looking at atmospheric conditions, looking at temperature conditions, looking at anything in that way. You have organic research coming together, you're going to find the answer to these questions, right? And you're going to basically see the ones that need to be held accountable for this. And all, again, no matter what happens, those that do these things are always held accountable. It always comes back. It's always a boomerang, guys. Whenever a person is doing sick things like this, they're launching out a boomerang, okay? And that boomerang is probably going to be about 5, 10, 15, 20 times bigger when it comes back around to hit them. There's always a boomerang. This is why I say it's counterforces, okay? So there's a mixture of different things from what the cards are saying. Not just frequency bombardments, but other form of anomalies that are taking place at the same time that is interfering with the equilibrium of these animals that are causing them to perish, okay? So some things we need to do some organic investigation with, for sure. All right. Okay, guys, we're going to look at some more questions here. We're going to take about 10 more minutes, so maybe I can take about 1 or 2 more questions. Yeah, Forever Free says homeschooling groups popping up all over here in British Columbia. Yeah, like I said, guys, I'm not saying you have to take your kids out of school because you have to listen to Brad, right? But I'm only just giving my perspective about these things. Because like I said, I remember my days back in school, and I just knew it was a complete and total waste of time. I didn't need to be there, right? I felt I needed my grade 12 education, and I had to go all the way. But no, I never really liked, the only thing I really liked in school was when I was doing filmmaking, when I was doing writing and stuff like that, when I was doing acting, right? Those are the things that I actually liked. But all the other stuff, the sciences and mathematics and English and all that stuff, it's garbage. You don't need any of that crap, okay? You can learn all that stuff naturally. You don't need to go to some prison school and learning all that crap. It doesn't do anything, okay? And like I said, I'm only giving my perspective here. Whatever you guys decide to do is up to you. That's your job as parents, right? But if you ask me, that's my perspective, okay? Okay. So I'm just scrolling down the list here a bit more, guys. Just give me a minute. My phone's going off in the background, so I'm trying to ignore it. Okay, this one here is from @ForeverTia. Asks, can you ask about the air and water around Ohio? Just 1 sec, guys. I'm just gonna... turning off my noisy phone. Okay. Okay, anyway, so it was, can you ask about the air and water around Ohio? Since the spill incident, lots of us worried. Okay, let's take a look at that. About the chemical spill. I think it was something about like a train wreck or a derailing train or something like that. Like I said, that just screams sabotage right there, okay? So again, it's all these political agendas. It's sabotage. It's all these things that have been engineered and planned ahead of time. But let's take a look in that sense at the integrity of the air and the water around Ohio. Okay, and see what's happening there. Okay, so what is the integrity of the air and water around Ohio? Yep, so this was definitely sabotage. This was definitely intentional, okay? So this was, again, engineered, pre-planned for this to happen. Good news is the damage is not as severe as you think, okay? I'm not detecting anything. Actually, there's really good cards here. So I'm not detecting that this is going to lead to poisoning of the air and poisoning of the water. Whatever this is, I think there is a prevention. I think there was a knowing that this was going to happen. And even though they announced the idea of dangerous chemical spill, it doesn't feel like that's the case. Okay? I'm not getting anything here in regards to the cards actually saying that this is leading to a chemical spill that is going to drastically affect the water supply and the air, but that is originally what the plan was. So I feel like there was an intervention beforehand, knowing that something like this would happen, preventing certain form of chemicals from being loaded. Okay? So everything's okay. That's what I'm getting behind the scenes here. You guys are going to be all right. You do not have to worry about poisoning in the air. You do not need to worry about poisoning the water. Whatever happened here, this feels like a facade. It just feels like something that was planned, that was ployed, trying to create a false agenda to try and create a scarcity tactic. Okay? But I'm not detecting anything. I'm getting the World card here. I'm getting the Fool card here. I'm getting the Ten of Pentacles. These all represent very, very positive things. So it's basically saying, yeah, this was orchestrated, this thing happened, but don't worry, okay? Your air is not affected, your water is not affected by this chemical spill or supposed chemical spill. You're okay, right? Your water supply is going to be okay. Your air supply is going to be okay. Just spread the word about that, right? Your guys are going to be okay in Ohio, right? But that was certainly an intention. That is what they were planning to do. This is why I say, guys, cosmic denial stamps. Counter forces on top. It's kind of like the Dark Cabal is trying to plan one step ahead. The counter forces are about 3 or 4 steps ahead. They know what they're trying to do. And so they will basically try to make last minute changes anytime that they're trying to create sabotage like this. This was all part of trying to poison water supply. This is all part of trying to create environmental damage. That was their intention, right? And being able to try and spread it around as far and wide as they can, they couldn't do it. And their plans foil. That's how desperate they are. Doing all these things, trying to create all these forms of havoc and trying to poison more people in that way. Well, we can't poison them with vaccines anymore, so I guess we're going to try and spike the water supply. That's their mentality, guys. That's what they're doing. They're going through their playbook. Okay, let's poison their water supply. Let's poison more of their food. Let's try and create the illusion of shortages. It's a satanic playbook that they are looking at, and that's what they're doing, right? But what they don't realize is all these things are being foiled. So a lot of the things that make up the counterforces are these former high operatives that used to work for the Dark Cabal. They know their game plan. They know exactly what they're going to do, cut and dry. And they know how to prevent all of those things. That's why you're getting the cosmic stamp of denial for all of these attempts that are trying to create a massive loss of life. That's what's happening here. Okay? That's exactly what I'm getting from the cards here pertaining to that. So people in Ohio, you're going to be okay. All right? It feels like, yes, this happened, but it did not deliver the results that they were trying to. It was averted. That's the good news about it. Okay. You can even ask Janine about that if you want. I'm pretty sure she'll tell you the same thing. Okay. Janine and I are usually simpatico when we're looking at our readings together. So if I say something and I find out Janine says the same thing, Janine says something and I find out I say the same thing, that's why I love her, right? We're simpatico with our source. Okay. So let's go down. I think we're going to take one more question before we wrap up here, guys. Yeah, so I just had a question. Jenna, I had your question here from the Ohio situation. Okay, I just answered that. Thank you for your donation. I don't know why these donations aren't showing up. Like, they're not popping up on the screen here for me to see. Weird. I have to scroll down and find them here. That's weird. Okay. So Layla, thanks for your donation and letting me know about Gro's question about the birds and the cats. Okay. Yeah, Layla says there is a HARP facility in the north of Norway. Yeah, but I think a lot of the HARP stations right now, I'm not too sure if that one's been taken over by counterforces. Why don't we take a look at that? Is the HARP facility in the north of Norway, because that's the one that was responsible for the Norway spiral that took place in 2009. I know I was actually on one of the news stations because I was doing a blog about it back in 2009. They took my video off of my channel and they put it on their news station and saying, oh yeah, there was this Norway spiral and bloggers got busy, and then they showed a clip of me, and all the clip they showed of me was there's still some speculation about what this could be, what this whole spiral could be, and that was it. They missed out all the other good stuff that I was talking about in the video about the Norway spiral when that took place in 2009. But that's your typical MSM, right? Oh, we're just going to get Brad to say this. Oh, there's still a lot of speculation about what this could be. Unbelievable, really? Because I was given some really good conclusions in that video back in 2009. about what that Norway spiral was. We're not going to have that. We can't have that on the mainstream news. We can't wake people up. You can't talk to them about expansive things. You can't worry about raising your consciousness and expanding things and thinking for yourself and being a thinker. Oh my God. That's exactly what they do, right? They look at bloggers and let's get like one of the dumbest bloggers we can find, right? Just this is a guy who's like a complete idiot. And they have millions of followers and they're doing something really, really stupid. And that's the person we'll follow, right? That's like the MSM's wet dream of a blogger right there, okay? Oh, hey guys, watch me light this firecracker up my nose. Oh, let's see what happens. Watch the guy's head blow off. Hey, that's great. Let's put that on the news, okay? Idiocy is the norm for the MSM. All right, so let's take a look at the Norway, the HARP facility in north of Norway, okay? Is that now under counterforce jurisdiction? Let's take a look at that. Most definitely, yes. I'm getting all good cards here, okay? Yes, so I don't think that's the culprit behind the things that are happening with Norway. I think it's something else. It may have to do with deep underground military bases or something like that, okay? But not the HARP facility in Norway. The HARP facility in Norway has changed ownership, okay? Counterforces run that now. Same thing with the HARP facility in Alaska. Counterforces run that, okay? There's been a switch. There's been a change. It's under new guard, okay? So whatever's been happening to the birds and to the cats around Oslo is not caused by HARP. It's something else, okay? So this may be something with deep underground military bases or other forms of weaponry that they're practicing on different ranges or something of that nature, okay? But like I said, it's from what the cards are saying, it's different things. Different things are happening, right? So like I said, could be chemicals, could be magnetic fluctuations, could be changes in temperature, could be atmospheric conditions, could be meddling with weather, okay? A lot of different things can cause this, but nonetheless, there's a whole bunch of things that are happening. It's like a soup, okay? And there just needs to be some organic research done. There needs to be some looking into it and some investigation about why these things are happening, okay? We're going to end with one more question, guys. We're going to wrap up. So I got a donation here from Kristen. Oh, God, I thought I turned my phone off. One sec, guys. Okay, so how do Scandinavians best help their neighbors and family now after the Nord Stream 2 revelation? Nord Stream 2 revelation, I haven't heard of that. Let me just go ahead and look that up real quick. Nord Stream 2 revelation. Okay, like again, I don't keep track of every single news story here, guys, so... Yeah, I'm trying to find like an elevator version about this whole idea of a Nord Stream revelation. Okay, so basically a blowing up of the pipelines, the Nord Stream pipelines relies. Okay, so it basically feels like there's a sabotage here. It's also saying Biden ordered destruction of Nord Stream pipelines. Right. Yeah. I'm just trying to go through the article here because I'm just not familiar with this stuff here. I have to kind of get a little bit more information here. So basically it feels like pipelines are being destroyed, and some people are saying that Biden was responsible for that and all that. Okay, pipelines being destroyed and so on and so forth. Okay, I gotcha. I see what you're saying here. All right, well, let's take a look at that. So how do Scandinavians best help their neighbors and family now after the Nord Stream revelation has taken place? Okay, so the idea of destruction of pipelines, what's next? Well, then again, there's going to be replacements. There's going to be alternatives that are going to be coming together. Okay, but let's take a look at that. So how will Scandinavian neighbors help up with that? Let's take a look. Okay, whatever has happened, this is a very good thing. Okay, relating to that, so I'm getting a lot of good things happening here. Whatever it was pertaining to those pipelines, about why they were destroyed, why they're dismantled, that was going in the right direction. Okay, this is moving forward in a very positive way. It's a very good thing that this has taken place, because now there may be some alternatives. This may represent the idea of new free energy technology coming in. Okay, so again, it looks like this is an initial stage of something successful that's going to bring about something bigger. Still going to be a little bit of struggle, because I think Scandinavia is still getting a lot of the riffraff and the corrupt mafia out of Scandinavia as well too. It feels like that's been a blow to them. It feels like this is something that's been a blow to them, because that's part of their money supply that's going down the drain. And so yeah, it looks like there's an upset. There's still some upset even with people right now pertaining to the pipelines that have been destroyed. But this is going to lead into something a lot more positive. This is changing ownership. This is changing jurisdiction for Scandinavia. Okay, so basically whatever is happening, it's going to happen in its own way. It's just you're not going to be able to convince everybody, say, guys, don't worry, this is something that needs to happen, it's going to lead us into something better. No, you're going to be argumentative about it, right? People are going to go back and forth with that. They're going to clash back and forth. No, this is horrible. No, this is a good thing. No, this is horrible. This is a good thing, right? So this stuff needs to play out as it needs to, right? With these things, again, it's all orchestrations, guys. None of these things are genuine. And that's another important thing you can remind others, guys. These are all implementations. These are all engineered events. These are all taking place because it's getting the old guard out of our country, so something new and something better can come into our country. And we could basically be looking at some alternative technologies coming together to pick up the slack with that. It looks like there's looking to be a big rollout pertaining to some new alternative technology that's about to come. We may start to see more dismantling or takedowns of more pipelines that may go all across the world. And so if a lot of those pipelines are going down, something's going to take its place, something bigger and probably something better. So we just have to kind of keep our eyes open for that. But this is all part of the relinquishing of an old guard and putting a new one in its place. Okay? Thank you, Kristen, for your question. Thank you, everybody, for joining me for New Earth Tarot Live today. That is our broadcast for today. I'll be back tomorrow for New Earth TV Live. Okay, so check that out. Guided meditation, distance healing, and of course, Q&A. So thank you, everybody, and I'll talk to you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific. Blessings to you all. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaskar, and may it be well with you. Bye for now. Thank you so much for tuning in on YouTube. Don't forget to check out our websites, newearthteachings.com, where you can do private sessions with me, and also AetherX.co. And through AetherX, you'll be able to pick up your Healing Code Cards body deck, your mind deck, and your energy deck through AetherX. You will also be able to pick up the Aetherbed kit. That is also on AetherX as well. Not to mention that you'll also be able to pick up some apparel and accessories that is also available on AetherX. Thank you so much for tuning into this video, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next one. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaskar, and may it be well with you.